Next we've a meeting of two teams desperate to find some form. Barnsley and Hull had won just one of their last 7 matches before this clash at Oakwell, and they're separated by just 2 points in the bottom half of the table. Commentary comes from Dan O'Hagan.
Doyle. Now Hamill, who has been the most likely to make anything really good happen so far. And Hamill! Oh, what a hit! Well, he's begun the game superbly. And now a goal to underline that of real quality. Doyle here releases Hamill. And coming up here, a Barnsley blockbuster. 30 yards plus. Look at that, off the crossbar too, for good measure. A Tom Kearney free kick for Hull. There's a Rossini square of him. It's Kearney's ball in. Zayat's in there, it's gone in. But the goal does not stand. The flag up on this near side for a foul, I believe, on the goalkeeper. And Hull robbed an equaliser here right on half-time. Kearney's ball in. Onside, are they? Then Zayat challenges the goalkeeper and, yeah, jumps into him. Kearney's ball swerving in. It might drop here, and the equaliser from Kilban. Hull, against the play perhaps, have got a goal and a lifeline in the game. In by O'Brien, real chance here, off the line by Dawson. Up in the air, and somehow stays in play. How on earth did that stay out, or not go over? Hull's back line is rocking here visibly. This is Hamill, great take. Hamill now steps on the gas. Adam Hamill to win the game, superb save. Matt Duke with a point-saving fingertip stop from Adam Hamill. And that is a top-quality piece of goalkeeping.
It's Mogger, the words on the lips of many Middlesbrough fans as news filtered through in the week that Tony Mowbray was back to oversee first-team affairs with his boyhood team. 9 years he spent here as a player, now he's returned as manager.
This is a special place, you know, people from Middlesbrough who go off around the world, and I'd go on holiday somewhere in America or wherever, and you'll meet Borough people everywhere, and they're all very, very passionate for their team. What we need to do is to get that passion and roll it all up and get everybody behind the team again, because when the Riverside is bouncing, it's a special place, and we need to get the Borough fans back on board, pushing this team back in the right direction.
The gates of the club's former home, Ayresome Park, stand outside the Riverside as a reminder of Borough's history, and Mowbray knows their current problems pale in comparison. When the administrators were appointed in 1986, it looked like Middlesbrough would be forced to quit the Football League. Crippled by debts they simply couldn't clear. They were given 37 days by the provisional liquidator to find a financial solution, or the club would fold. Without a home, they were even forced to play some of their games at nearby Hartlepool. Fortunately, a local consortium came to the rescue, and at the 11th hour, Middlesbrough was saved from extinction. Now, Mowbray was a young pro at the club at the time all this was happening. If that wasn't enough pressure, he was made captain at just 22 and quickly attained cult status with the locals. So after spells in management at Hibs, West Brom and Celtic, Mowbray has now returned to Teesside, and the fans are delighted he's chosen to do so.
I think he's the right man for the job. He was probably the only candidate. He's played for the club, he's captained the club, he's from the area, and the biggest thing, he knows what this club means to this area.
A crowd of just over 19,000 turned up to welcome their new manager against what looked like perfect opposition, bottom of the table Bristol City. The home fans were rewarded with a goal after half an hour. Chris Boyd was former boss Gordon Strachan's marquee signing in the summer, and he showed the type of predatory finishing Strachan had hoped for during his tenure. But the Riverside regulars were soon feeling the frustration when City equalised in fortuitous fashion 5 minutes later. Albert Adoma's deflected shot sending the teams in level at half-time. Just 4 minutes after the break, Mowbray's magic seemed to have worn off as Marvin Elliott showed great technique to hit the winner and his 3rd goal of the season. So no fairy tale start to the Mowbray era as Borough fell to their 4th straight defeat. They're now second bottom.
Well, there's been a big build-up, I think, and you hope it goes well for you, and ultimately it hasn't, of course, but there's a lot of hard work ahead, which we're looking forward to, we're relishing it. And I think as a football manager, as long as you can be working for good people who will give you the opportunity, the time to develop things the way you want to, then that's all you can ask.
16 points from a possible 18 made Portsmouth the informed team in the Championship. Their early season troubles now seem a distant memory, but Forest promised to be stubborn opponents and were hoping for a third straight win themselves. Lewis McGugan had been in great goal-scoring form recently, but despite having 2 bites at the cherry, couldn't add to his 7 goals for the season. Ibrahima Sonko, on the other hand, hadn't scored for 2 years, but it was his header that put Pompey ahead. The pain surely worth it for the on-loan Stoke defender. But the lead lasted less than 10 minutes. Lewis McGugan's cross asked a lot of Paul Anderson, but what a header it was. 1-1 inside half an hour. Liam Lawrence has proved to be a great loan signing for Portsmouth. He already had 1 assist to his name in this game, and his 5th goal in 7 proved to be a match winner. Steve Cotterill's men now just a point off the playoff places.
You just can't afford to stand still in the Championship. After 3 straight league defeats, Ipswich had dropped from 5th to 14th, and of particular concern to Roy Keane was making slow starts to games. Town had scored just 1 first-half league goal this season. But just 5 minutes in, they led against Millwall. Defender Paul Robinson has admittedly dealt with more testing crosses in his life. Jason Scotland with the composure to notch his 5th of the season, the summer signing from Wigan already proving his worth. These teams had already met in the Carling Cup. Ipswich won 2-1 on that occasion and had the chance to go further ahead here when Tamas Priskin got the better of Danny Shitu, earning his team a penalty. Ref Kevin Friend wouldn't be swayed, not even by the sweet nothings of Millwall keeper David Ford. Grant Leadbitter to make the game safe, which he did, just 2-0, and Ipswich have stopped the rot.
Simon Grayson insisted Leeds would go to Scunthorpe in good spirits, despite seeing his team suffer that 4-0 thrashing by Cardiff on Monday. And it didn't take Leeds long to get off the mark. Johnny Howson with the pass, Max Gradle on target inside 8 minutes, his first of the season. Cliff Burns scored his first of the campaign last week at Watford, and the Scully defender made it 2-2 when he levelled before the half hour. At this stage, all square and little to separate the sides. Step forward Leeds captain fantastic Johnny Howson. This fine finish was only the start of a memorable 15 minutes for the Leeds Academy graduate. A third Leeds goal and Howson's second owed much to slack marking, and it seems Scunthorpe's poor record of just the 1 home win was set to continue. But just a minute later, Howson was at it again. What a way to complete a first career hat-trick. 4-1 it finished.
Before kick-off, Leicester and Preston had the 2 leakiest defences in the Championship, so goal glut guaranteed, you might think. Well, not quite. In fact, there were very few chances, but the one that counted was for Sven-Göran Eriksson's Foxes. Paul Gallagher scored it against the team he once played for on loan. Simple. Leicester putting daylight between themselves and the bottom 3.
So finally we have a new front runner in the Championship. A 4th successive draw for QPR means Cardiff take their place at the top. Bristol City's win at Middlesbrough lifts them off the bottom of the table. Tony Mowbray must have a quick impact if he's to save Borough's season from disaster. Next to League One, where leaders Brighton were at Peterborough. Posh manager Gary Johnson called it a must-win match, but his team made the worst possible start. Ashley Barnes on target. And the Brighton striker continued to play a pivotal role on his 21st birthday. He clashed with George Boyd, and the incident eventually led to the Peterborough midfielder being sent off. The table toppers had been dominant before the red card. Now they threatened to take complete control. But after Elliot Bennett was brought down, goalkeeper Joe Lewis delayed the Seagulls' second by saving his penalty. Gus Poyet's men kept their foot on the gas though, and defender Inigo Calderon scored for the 3rd time in as many matches. And they added a 3rd when Bennett was sent flying again after the break. Birthday boy Barnes took the penalty this time to complete a memorable day for him and another convincing win for Brighton. With Bournemouth beaten, Brighton are 8 points clear of Huddersfield at the top. Southampton are up to 9th, following a 3-1 win at Notts County. That game was Paul Ince's first in charge of the Magpies, having taken over during the week. Plymouth lost 4-2 at Oldham and drop into the bottom 4. In League Two, a quiet first half between Bradford and Oxford gave no clues as to what would follow in a spectacular second. Omar Daly put the Bantams ahead just after the break. That was the Jamaican's first goal since March, but he added another 9 minutes later, and some goal it was too. Bradford have been surprise strugglers this season and have had real trouble finding the net, but there was no stopping them now as Mark Crichton's challenge gave away a penalty. In a twice-taken kick, Lee Hendry scored the one that mattered. It might have been over as a contest, but things were about to boil up. Crichton, the man who'd given away the penalty, was first to lose the plot, scything through Leon Osborne. Referee David Webb brought out a red card. That set off Bradford's James Hanson and former Bantams trainee Jake Wright, who went for each other. Luckily, Mr. Webb had kept the red card handy. Hanson was the first to go, quickly followed by Wright. Oxford down to 9. Things calmed down after that, but there was still time for 2 Bradford subs to leave their mark. First, Dave Sayers with an emphatic finish. Louis Moult then made it 5 in stoppage time. Peter Taylor's side are finally making progress. This was their 3rd win in 4 matches. There's no change at the top of League Two. Chesterfield, Port Vale and Bury all won. Cheltenham's 4-3 win at Crewe lifts them into the playoff places. Bradford's win means they rise up to 16th, while Hereford also won 5-0 and are off the bottom. Barnet take their place. Our goal of the week comes from Adel Tarab for QPR against Burnley. It gave Rangers fans something to cheer in a week when they'd lost their place at the top of the Championship. Next week on the show, a clash between 2 of the informed teams, Derby and Portsmouth. And Tony Mowbray looks for his first win as Middlesbrough's new boss when they host Crystal Palace. See you then.